Well, I'll be a son of a gun. Jem is not here today. It is just me. And at the recording of this episode, the Knicks are 1-0 in the NBA Finals. I'm giddy and nervous and excited all at the same time. Now, by the time this airs, let's see. They'll have one more game. Two more games could be played. So there's they could be down 1-2, they could be up 2-1, they could be up 3-0. Those are the only two possibilities or three possibilities that can happen. They played a bad game and they won in San Antonio. Game 1, crazy that they were able to pull that off. Jalen Brunson turns into God in the fourth quarter after being it's crazy. He sinks I think he sinks the first shot of the game, and it's a 3-pointer, and then he misses like 6 shots in a row. He was 1 for 7 at one point. I don't remember if it got any worse than that, but I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? But like, I'm just watching this, and the whole time, the first quarter and first half was, I actually put it on my iPad at one point and put the Yankee game on the big screen, because I'm like, all right, I see how this is going. The NBA is going to fix the game, so the Spurs and their international phenom, young superstar, gets a paper championship, because the refs didn't call any fouls on the Spurs. They were all on the Knicks. Like, the Spurs were pulling on the jerseys of players on the Knicks. The Spurs were knocking players over. At one point, Cat got hit and just knocked. I thought he hit his back of his head on the court. I'm just like, God, like, is this like a thing? Is this how they play basketball in the West Coast? Like, this is crazy that they were not getting any calls. There was, at one point, it was 12 free throws for the Spurs, and Robinson, I think, only had the only one free throw attempt for the Knicks on an and one. It was so embarrassing on how much of a disparity the free throw differential was, and the fouls were against the Knicks. It was 100% against the Knicks. This isn't like some weird fucking it's just because you root for the team. It's like, no, like, anyone with eyes could see. What was going on that was allowing this? It was terrible. It was fucking terrible. So they wind up getting that a little bit better in the second half. A little bit. I'm not going to say better. I'm not going to say a lot better. I'm not going to say, no, just a little bit better. If it's going to be like, if the officials are going to call the game like they did in the first half, for the whole game in game 2 or the rest of the season, like, then it's going to be the Knicks versus Spurs and the refs. And they're not going to win that kind of series. They're just not. These refs have to call a fair game. It was not a fair game overall, and especially in the first half. I hate being that guy crying about the officials, but it's the truth. It was the truth. The Spurs shot the ball terribly. Wemby was awful offensively, efficiency-wise, but so was Brunson. Brunson was terrible, and then he just turns into God in the fourth quarter. Cat was amazing. Deuce McBride, his defense was great. Overall, it was a bad game by both teams, but the Knicks, after getting a nice lead in the fourth quarter and then losing it, they gained it right back, and they controlled the fourth quarter and won the game, and won by double-digit points again. So it kind of just adds to the mystique of this win streak and how many points overall they're winning by, even though this is less than average of what they were winning by. But I'm nervous because the Spurs, Wemby can go into God mode at any moment, and they have these young players who just, it's like they're young and dumb, which is sometimes a good and dangerous thing. The way the Cat was playing against Wemby, though, kind of remind me of when, like, Olajuwon was playing against Shaq when the Rockets played the Magic. It wasn't like the same styles of play, those 4 players in total, but it was more of this guy's taking him to school kind of thing. Like Shaq is this young phenom and became a better player overall, but you have this grizzled veteran in Cat, like you had Elijah Wall, kind of just taking this young, soon-to-be star of the league phenom to school. And he was, because all of a sudden, Cat can take the ball from the three-point line and then just drive it. And Wemby just couldn't catch up to him. Even with his wingspan and his height, wasn't able at multiple times to stop Cat attacking the basket from beyond the three-point line back into just the paint and at the basket, at the rim. It was great. It was great to watch. I'm like, holy shit, this is great. I didn't know Cat could do this to Wemby. This is awesome. I knew they were going to be underdogs odds-wise going into the finals against the Spurs. However, I did predict that they would win a series against the Spurs if they played them. If they played OKC, they wouldn't. But the Spurs, I just think they match up better against them. However, that doesn't mean they can. Obviously, they can lose. That's why they play the fucking game. So they're up 1-0. Who knows? By the time this airs, it could be 1-2, could be 2-1, could be 3-0. Like who freaking knows? I'm just like I'm nervous though. I'm so nervous because the Spurs are not going to play that poorly in Game 2. That is. I can only predict the future. I don't know the future, but I'd bet everything that the Spurs are going to have a phenomenally better Game 2, than they did Game 1. And Wemby's he's gonna control the game. Will it be enough to win? Who knows? But they're not going to play as poorly. If they score 95 or less again, it will be the most efficient 95 or less points ever in an NBA Finals game, because they were just so poor shooting the ball. They kept getting offensive boards all night, except later in the game, the Knicks got better and better. But especially in that first half, they were getting offensive boards. And I'm like, oh my God, you keep giving this team all these extra shots. And the Spurs couldn't capitalize on it. They couldn't. They got the lead at one point to 14. But that luckily doesn't scare this Knicks team. They were down 20-plus points twice against the Celtics 2 years ago. They came back in both those games. They were down, I think it was 22 points in Game 1 against the Cavs and came back in that game. Brunson again going into God mode. They go down sometimes in these games and they're able to come back. So, deficits are not the biggest deal. And if you're only able to get it to 14, not just for the Knicks, in modern NBA, a 10-point lead in the NBA late, a 20-point lead in the NBA nowadays is kind of what a 10-point lead used to be in like the 90s and the early 2000s. The 3-point game and the way these people are able to shoot the ball efficiently, like these guys it's doable, especially with this Knicks team. The main thing the Knicks are doing in this 12-game winning streak is that they're doing something that they've struggled to do for a long time under Thibodeau, and even for a while under Brown, but they figured it out, which is smelling the blood in the water and putting their foots on the throats of their opponents. I clearly got a phone call. I'm gonna put them on mute. Tell them to call that podcast. I'm talking about the Knicks. For a while the Knicks would blow games like they did against the Hawks. They almost blew Game 1 against the Hawks. And then they blew Game 2 against the Hawks. And then Game 3, I think that was like more of a back to forth. The Hawks actually controlled it for most of the time. I think the Knicks got the lead late because Anunoby just kept, he went into God mode and kept them alive, but then the Hawks wind up winning. But after those 3 games, so yeah, really, it's more so just this run. They've smelled blood in the water. And they have not given their opponents a chance to come back. Now, they did against the Spurs in this first game, but this is a totally different game. It's not like the Knicks led for roughly 15, 20 points the whole game, and then the other team came back. No, the Spurs led, I believe, for the majority of the game. I know the Knicks had a lead at one point when it was 43-42 roughly, and then it was the Spurs led the game. The Knicks didn't have a lead until somewhere in the fourth quarter. No, hold on. In the third quarter, it was tied 76-76, but I forget if the Knicks gained a lead in that quarter. But anyway, it was more of a back-and-forth game. The Spurs had a 14-point lead at one point. The Knicks then got an 8-9 point lead in the fourth quarter. Spurs came back, and then the Knicks win by 10. So it was that's a totally different, like, blowing fourth quarter lead. But when I was watching the game, I was telling my girlfriend, I'm like, they're chipping away, because the Knicks shot the ball so poorly overall. Both teams did. The Knicks, what they can do better, and this is easy stuff to say, but I'll say it. They have to shoot the ball better. Clear, they just shoot the ball better. You have their 3-pointers go down. And two, they can't allow the Spurs to get the offensive boards that they were getting, especially in the first half. It's like, guys, I understand they have a freaking of nature in Wemby. You cannot get out rebounded. You can't give the Spurs on multiple possessions 3 opportunities to score. You just can't do that. You cannot do that. What the Knicks did so much better, though, was they stopped turning over the ball. I think they had won the whole second half, and that came late in the third quarter with like a minute or 2 minutes to go. I think it was funny. I think they even mentioned they haven't turned the ball over all third quarter, and then with like 50 seconds or a minute to go, roughly there, like they turned it over. It's like, there you go. But that was it. And then I don't think they did it at all in the fourth quarter. So they're the more polished team. Keeping these games close is a huge thing because they're a veteran team that knows what to do and how to keep calm when they have to in the fourth quarter. It's just so cool to watch, and it's not even close to being over yet. And you know, a guy who would know that more than anyone is Mikal Bridges, because Mikal Bridges was on the Phoenix Suns, and they were up 2-0 in the finals, and they were ready to rock. They were ready to be a superstar next Golden State Warriors team, this Phoenix Sun team with Devin Booker, and I think Chris Paul was on the team at the time. Like, this is it. They're going to be the new faces of the NBA. They were going to be what OKC became. And all of a sudden, they were playing a team that was called the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Milwaukee Bucks had this guy called Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he did this thing called turn into Jesus Christ, and he scored he became Wilt Chamberlain. He became Wilt Chamberlain, and they won 4 in a row against a team that clearly was going to win the final. They were up 2-0. They were going to win that finals. It was written in stone, and they lost. Because Giannis went into God, Jesus, Muhammad, Allah, whatever Moses, whatever mode you want to talk about it. He went into that mode, turned into Wilt Chamberlain, and single-handedly won them that series. Well, guess what? The Spurs have a player that can easily do that. The Spurs have a player that can go into that mode, can go into 40-plus points a game, 10, 15-plus rebounds a game, and take this series over. They have that player. I'm not saying he's going to do it, but they have that potential. So if there's anyone that knows that this series ain't over until it's over, it's Mikal Bridges. And also then their other wing defender in OG, I mean, my God, he didn't get a chance to play in the playoffs for the Raptors when he got a ring. He was part of the roster. But he didn't play any games in the playoffs when he was part of the Raptors. He didn't play in the finals when he was part of the Raptors, but he was part of a championship team, and he is a champion. I mean, man, he was making big shots again in this game, and he was his defense obviously was like known in that game. God, if he can just have another great series. I understand Brunson and Cat and all of them are going to get the love. And I don't want to say like, OG doesn't get, no, everyone, that's the thing. Everyone always like, you know who's an underrated player is OG. It's like, no, because everyone says he's underrated. He's rated. Like everyone knows how great he is. But man, he's been so great the whole playoffs, the whole duration from game 1 against the Hawks to so far game 1 in these NBA finals against the Spurs. He has just been phenomenal. And it would be so great for him to get another ring and to be actually present in these playoff series and playing huge. He's one of their best players, you know? He's their like second, third, fourth best player. Like he's there, you know, he's there. He's part of the rotation. So it's been amazing to watch, but it's not, everyone should know it's not over yet. It will never be over until it's over. You can be up 3-0. You can be up 3.5-0. You can be up 3.9999 repeating to nothing. There's as long as there's a game to be played and there's a minute left in any game, the other team can come back. anything can happen. And also, guess what? I don't know if you remember this in game one. Brunson really hurt his knee. Like, he got it banged. They had to go to the locker room. And then he hurt his ankle, which I will say, both injuries, I'm like, he's going to be fine. Like, this, him and Hart this happens almost every other game with Hart and Brunson. They get hurt. They're like, yeah, I'm fine. But he did hurt his knee and ankle. And it's just like foreshadowing that injuries can happen to anyone. They can happen to anyone. They can happen to Brunson again. They can happen to OG, Cat, Hart. Like, anything can happen. So, look, the whole, oh, well, this series is over. I don't know if you remember, but last time I checked, the Pacers played OKC last year. And in game 7, Howdenburn tore his Achilles. Anything can happen. It ain't over until it's over. But I'm really happy that they're up 1-0. I'd rather much of that than being down 1-0. All right. So I talked your ears off about the Knicks. Aaron Judge's shoulder blew up, so that sucks. Let's see some stats, because that's what we do. We talk sports, and then we talk stats about the show. And then I head out. That's what I do on these solo shows. Actually, you know what? I think Pink Floyd commented. Pink Floyd commented on a Dullard episode. Well, someone was late uploading. By the way, I would have switched someone, but my comment wouldn't have posted. I would have switched someone. Oh, like you would have called me something. Like, oh, that sucks. That they don't allow that. Can't they just? Is it so much for companies to just asterisk what we say? Why do we have to do it? Like, what is this, a self checkout? Yeah, dude, I don't know what happened, but Anchor's been pissing me off with like uploading shit. Something's, and then I tried logging in to do it on. I noticed right away in the morning, like, oh, what the fuck, the episode wasn't uploaded. So I'm in the car trying to log into Anchor, and it's like, that's not the right password. I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure it is. I'm using the same password I log in when I'm at home. I was just so confused. So that episode got uploaded later that day on Monday, so sorry about that, but I'm never gonna admit to that, so never ever. It was never late. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, let's see. So that's the only comment, but also Think Floyd, thank you for always being there, man. I love you, guys. Fucking, I feel like he never misses an episode. That's an OG. If we ever win an NBA Finals, Think Floyd, I'm shouting you out and be like, yo, I want to thank everyone who's been here since the beginning. Think Floyd, whatever. Think Floyd. All right, how do I do the analytics to this? All right, analytics, numbers for this episode. Is it Discovery, audience? I think, no, Discovery is like how they find audience. All right, let's do audience first. All right, solid 92% male, 78% non-specified. But look at this, past 30 days, almost everyone 35 to 44 years old. Yep, that is me just getting older, and that is the demographic that I'm soon to be in. So there you go. That just shows that I'm going to be in my 40s one day, and I'm going to have this same mentality. That is really, yep, that's a thing. Spotify, the main source. All right, that makes sense. What about devices? Android. Interesting. That always makes me happy because I don't have an Android, so I know those numbers are not my numbers. Episode ranking. It's still the Flat Earth. I would love to get Flat Earth Dave back on the show. I kind of just want to like hear more like, hey, you know, it's been like a year or two. Any new news? Yeah. Is it still flat but a different shape? You know, I'd love to know. Like, have you had any new info to prove that's flat outside of the proof you already have? I know you, like, you know, I just want to talk to you. He's like, the guy can talk. You know, that's what you want for an audio fucking format. You want a guy that can fucking talk. Let's see. Let's do Discovery. Is Discovery? Oh no, I don't do it. Discovery. What is Discovery then? Spotify impressions 767 for basically the past month. All right. Search. Who's searching this show? All right, so it gets an impression, but 0 clicks, 0 plays. Nice. Yeah, nice. Yeah. Yeah, 0 for every single episode. What about Arguel? Let's do Arguel. But man, how do I? Oh, you know what? Irish Gypsy, I think did respond. I think she did. I told Jem that she responded. I don't think I ever got back to her. Ah, shit. I'm too lazy. I would. You know what? I need an agent. You know, I need the spot. I need this shitty show to get on a network, so everyone can do all the legwork. I get robbed blind, getting paid like peanuts, but I think like, oh, look at this, 6 figures. Oh wow, I'm doing well, even though the fucking network I'm part of is worth tens of millions. I need that. I need someone to do all the legwork for this shitty show that no one listens to. All right, what are we doing? Let's do analytics again. We're going to go analytics. And we're going to go to audience. All right, arguable. Younger demographic. We got 28 to 34, 52%, 53%. And then second at 35%, 35, 44. 100% male, though. Nice. And then 40% find us on web browsers. That's the platform, web browsers. It's interesting. Devices again, though. 52% Android. Just more Androids. A lot of American people. A lot of American. New Zealand. All right. VPNs. I wonder. Like I forget if VPNs are part of that though. Like, is it there a VPN? That's the reason why like New Zealand is a thing, or is it actually New Zealand? See, I need someone like I don't want someone to be like, well, of course it's a VPN. It's like no, I need someone to tell me if a VPN is like part of it, and then hold on, oh, my girlfriend's texting. Hold on, there we go. I want to know if like a VPN has that potential. Like, can a VPN actually like? Let's just say I VPN myself saying I'm in New Zealand. Is Spotify really gonna pick that as New Zealand? And then I'll be like, all right. And then I wonder if a VPN is part of it or not. If that's not the case, like no, technically no, that wouldn't be able to do that. So no, that New Zealand could be could be a different reason why it says New Zealand. Then I'd be like, all right, well then why the fuck's to say New Zealand? Maybe it's an actual listener in New Zealand. Who fucking knows? I don't fucking know. But yeah, geez, do I have anything else outside that? Nothing really. I don't do much in my life. Oh, I bought a wine rack. So I guess you can say I'm a connoisseur of the wines. I can let you know if I have a red or a white in my hand. That's something, huh? Yeah, not many people can do that. But I bought one to store the wine because apparently if a wine, it's better to store on its side. Yeah, did you know that? Well, look at that. Yeah, so there's something, something you learn something new every day. So I bought a rack, so that's nice. Outside of that, yeah, my life has really turned into Will Ferrell from Old School, where it's like I don't know, I don't know if if there's enough time to go to Bed Bath and Beyond. It's unfortunate that store is out of business now. But you go to Home Depot, you go to Costco. I went. Oh, all right. Here's a story. Here's a middle-aged story that will make people sad about my existence. Unless you're also middle-aged and can be like, I can relate to that. I have a clock that I love. I love this fucking clock. It's not an expensive clock. It's a wall-mounted clock. It's like 2 feet by 2 feet. Not that expensive. But I bought it. It's one of the first things I bought as like a decor thing when I first lived alone in my apartment. I just love this fucking clock. It's like industrial, modern, contemporary looking. It looks really cool. It just looks very minimalist. I love it. Love it. Bee's knees. Best clock ever. Started making a clicking sound. And I'm like, all right. And it's the seconds click. Even though it doesn't have a seconds hand, it's going to make the click for seconds. But I can hear it. I'm like, all right, that's louder than usual. So in my head, I'm like, all right, well, this happened before. I'll bring it to like someone to fix it. It costs like 10 or 20 bucks. They just got to twiddle around with the motor or put a new one in, whatever. But in my head, I'm like, yeah, let me see if I can fix it myself. I take the casing off the back. I decide to WD-40 it because I'm a fucking retard. And actually, this was during my water fast, so I probably was not like thinking like so I'll you know what, I'll tell the water fast story after this clock story. So my mind probably wasn't right because I was at the end of this water fast while I'm doing this. So I sprayed WD-40. I put the battery in after it's all wiped off, like on at least in that area, and I can hear the click. I'm like, fuck. All right, fine. I'll bring it to a guy. down the road. Hopefully he doesn't open it going, what the fuck, there's WD-40 in this. This is ruined. But all of a sudden, I put the clock, I lean it back up because I'm going to take it to the wall to put it back on the wall. And the WD-40 went through the center hole onto the hands of the clock on the front, and then it dripped onto the face of the clock. And I'm like, oh no. So I'm like, how do I get this out? How do I get this out? I do soap and water. And then I start like patting it dry, and you can see where the WD-40 still is. And I'm like, no. So then, like an idiot, I rush and I get rubbing alcohol and I'm wiping off, and all of a sudden the paint's coming off now. I'm like, no, like what's going on? And then I get a blow dryer, and I'm like trying to dry it all out, and you can just see there's one splosh, a one circle splosh that's like 3 inches by 2 inches, like an oval, and another smaller one that's like 1 inch by 2 inches. And I'm like, no, the clock's run, no. So I'm going nuts, like, oh man, part of me is like very lethargic because I'm at the end of this fucking water fast that I'm doing. Like, this is the third day I'm doing it. And the other part of me is like, so I'm like stoic, like, man, I really like this clock. Man, I really screwed up. Man, I'm really disappointed. But I know if I had the energy I have now, I'd be like, no, this sucks, man, fuck. So I start looking up like clock restoration places. I called one. They're like, yeah, no, is it something with the dial? Like, I told them my situation. They're like, yeah, no, we can't. I'm like, shit. Called another one, left a voicemail. I'm like, shit, I'm not getting anywhere. Let me look up paint restoration. And auto bodies kept popping up, like auto body shops. And I'm like, you know what, fuck it. So I call one that's like 10 minutes away. They're like, yeah, it's definitely a unique one. Why don't you bring it by? We'll see what we can do. I bring it by. They were really on. They were like, yeah, whatever we put. So the full disclosure, the clock's like this square metal thing, but the face is actually not. It's like either particle board or plastic, and it's painted on, you know? So again, it's not an expensive clock. I just really like it, and I've had it for a long time. It's also sentimental. So they're like, yeah, dude, anything we put on, like, we can paint the metal for you, but if we put anything on this part material, it's gonna like dissolve and completely ruin you. I'm like, all right, I don't want that. And they're like, why don't you just try bringing it to a Home Depot? I'm like, all right, I'm bringing it to Home Depot. The girl at customer service is like, yeah, no, this is plastic. You know, you can just sponge blot this. I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, well, look at the design of this. Like, just get a sponge. So go over there to paint. They'll give you the right paint. Just get a sponge and just sponge treat it yourself. I'm like, okay. So I go over to paint and I ask them, hey, I'm looking for a color that's like specifically, another full disclosure, the paint on this clock is like like it's gray, but some are darker than others. It's like very swooshy. Like, imagine like what water riplets would look like, but for the color gray. So it's like it's almost like smoky looking. So I told him, I was like, can I get a gray that's close to like the middle gray in terms of brightness on this clock? They're like, oh yeah, just bring it over here. I'm like, where? They're like, here. And they have a device, I didn't know this, that scans a color, kind of like what you would do with like the little oil drop thing on like Adobe Photoshop or GIMP or something like that, or even MS Paint, where they get the exact color and they'll make the paint for you. I'm like, oh, how long does that take? They're like 5 minutes. I'm like, what? So they made that color, and they're like, how much like do you need? I'm like, as little as possible. I'm going to just sponge treat this thing and see if it works. So they gave me a sample. So it was, after tax, it was like $7. I'm like, this is fucking great if this works. I go home, I get a sponge, I sponge treat it. It's not really perfect, but it's one of those things, unless you know what happened, you wouldn't know, no one could tell. And then I could always like just get the darker color and sponge treat again. I'm like, this is fucking great. The clock's good as new. I freaked out for nothing. And actually the clicking did go down a little bit. So maybe the WD-40 set on one of the gears and it helped a little bit. So problem solved. Clock looks good. I'm 30 something years old. This is the highlight of my fucking spring so far. So I can't complain. The other thing, lastly, is I did the water fast again. It's one of those things whenever, and like it's like when someone runs a marathon, they like are just struggling really hard not to tell anyone that I ran a fucking marathon. I need someone bring it up so I can tell you about. So I'll do that with the water fast real quick. Did it again. Did not do the 80 hours. This time I just did 72. So Sunday, my last meal was between 4:30. So I didn't eat anything until after 4:30 on Wednesday. A lot easier than the first one I did. A lot easier than the 80 hours. Not because it was 8 hours less. It was day one. So I had just finished my calorie deficit cut, and I was down to roughly 1,600 calories a day. And day one was the easiest thing because there were some days when I was cutting, especially when I got down to 18 to 1,600 calories, I didn't eat it in the morning. And I didn't eat in lunch. So day one, I was like, oh, this is normal. I'm, my body's like, yeah, he'll eat for dinner time. No biggie. And then all of a sudden, dinner time comes, and then my stomach's like, a little hungry. What's going on? So day one was easy. Day two, it got rough at night. I think one reason because my girlfriend decided to eat Taco Bell that night, and I'm just looking at the new Diablo nuggets. Pretty sure I like Diablo sauce more than you, but here you are, putting Diablo sauce on dry rub Diablo nuggets. Must be nice. And then day three was equally as hard as the end of day two until I was going through the clock thing, and I'm like, oh, and then. It was one of those things where I was like, dude, I literally could do, I told my girlfriend, I was like, I really think I could do a week if I wanted to. I just didn't want to. And I told her, I was like, listen, I'm either going to start eating again Thursday or once 72 hours hits, I'm going to eat. And I think Tuesday night, probably the Taco Bell helped with this. I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to just do 72 hours. Yep. But actually I had my scale weight because I weighed myself during my bulk cut and this thing. So let's see. So at the last day of the last week of my cut, my average weight was 175.9, and then on Monday morning, which was the first full day I was going to do this water fast, I was 173.5, and then Wednesday morning I was 170.6. So I lost 173.5 minus 170.6. So I lost 2.9 pounds, so almost a pound a day, basically. And I didn't weigh myself Thursday more because I DM'd Jem. I was like, I'm having the best meal of my life right now. And it was steaks, pizza that we got a week ago, but I put in the freezer. I'm like, you know what? We're saving it. Was leftovers from a party. We're saving that for when I'm done with my fit. Cupcakes that I put in the freezer. I'm like, we're saving that for the fast. So I had cupcakes, steaks, pizza, and a custom New York Knicks cookie that my girlfriend got me for game one of the finals. And I'm like, I ate all this. I'm like, this is fucking the greatest meal of all time. I had steak sauce and ketchup on it. This is fucking great. And I ate 50% of that. Went on the couch. I'm like, my stomach. And then periodically would go back to the plates. I can get some more of me. So I kept going and I ate all that and then some other food for the rest of the night. And yeah, I was very happy. Oh, and I had some wine. I had wine that was open like a week ago. But I was like, save it for the post fast meal. I'll drink anything after this, which I did. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I really do think I don't know if I'll do it for an extended period of time after more than 80 plus hours. I really don't have a reason to, but maybe I'll get bored with my life, so bored that I have to fix a clock that I'll be like, fuck it. Let's just do a week or at least try to do a week. Because, at the end of the day, I have never done it, but I don't know. There's just stuff like that. I like doing weird things with my body to see if I can do it or not. I don't know why. That I like doing that. It's not I don't think it's a self-control thing because it's not like I have good self-control because once the fucking fast was over, I'm over here eating 4 slices of pizza and steak and shit. So I don't know. It's just some weird I want to you know what or you know what I think I'll see other people do things and I'm like, yeah, I can do that. I think I can figure that out. Maybe that's why I watch sports. Yeah, I can do that, but I secretly can't. So then I try to find things I can do. Who knows? But it was fun. And now I'm eating. Oh, I'm doing like a refill process for like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. Kind of get my carbs back up, get my pump back up, and then after that, I'm not gonna really track my calories. I should, if I had nothing but donuts all day, I should be like, yeah, maybe some protein, maybe like half a steak. But that's it. Go Knicks. Aaron Judge is dead, and yeah. Should see you next week with Jem most likely. If not, it will be another solo show, or maybe I'll get maybe I'll get Flat Earth Dave. Someone hit him up for me. Someone be my agent for free. Think Ployd, get on it. All right, later guys. Peace.